This government will now pilot a similar model for families who are failed asylum seekers, a small number of whom will now be offered an increased incentive payment of £10,000 per person and up to a maximum of £40,000 per family. £40,000 per family. £40,000 per family. £40,000 per family.
The Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, has just announced a raft of changes to immigration rules, including a controversial £40,000 voluntary departure scheme payment for failed asylum seekers. Now, you'd have to be living under a rock if you weren't aware that immigration is currently the most divisive topic in the country. And any government that fails to deal adequately with this is going to pay the consequences at the polls. Now, Ms. Mahmood has come out and stated that she feels the current immigration system is broken and that the public lack confidence in it. So the question is, are these changes going to make a discernible difference to the immigration system and the public perception of that system? Or is it just papering over the cracks and paying lip service to what she feels the public want to hear? Let's dive into it. Hello, my name's Ryan, I'm the Code Legal lawyer and I give a legal view on the latest news. Don't forget to check out our website, codelegal.co.uk. We're currently offering free consultations for anyone seeking formal legal advice. Now, on to these proposals. Firstly, we've got that the government has activated a new emergency visa break on 4 countries: Afghanistan, Cameroon, Myanmar and Sudan. And these countries have some of the highest rates of people entering on visas and then claiming asylum, and those countries of origin refusing to take them back if their claims have failed. According to Ms. Mahmood, these people were abusing the system. So, of course, critics are going to say that it's just going to force these immigrants to come on boats instead, as there's very few safe and legal alternatives to this. So we're going to have to see how this unfolds. But the new proposal makes a significant departure from the universal approach to the current system. The next proposal is going to be changing the length of qualifying time to gain settlement in the country from 5 years to 10 years, which is obviously going to significantly affect those migrants' long-term stability, family planning and employer retention. The talking point about this is it's going to be retrospective, which means that if, for example, you're a few months away from settlement, then you're sadly out of luck. That doesn't really seem fair, so we can expect it's going to be challenged, and whether this passes remains to be seen. The asylum seeking system is going to be shifting away from automatic permanence to a conditional review-based protection. Under the old system, refugees were granted 5 years leave to remain, and then they could apply for indefinite leave to remain. Under the new system, new refugees will be granted 30-month temporary protection, mandatory safety reviews before extensions, family reunions paused in some cases, and stricter conditions before anyone can settle long term. The reality is, it's not going to stop those people who are genuinely fleeing persecution though, because it's just going to change their status in the country. If you are genuinely fleeing persecution, then you're still going to have valid legal grounds to remain. Now, one major change, which is coming in June, is that the legal statutory requirement to provide financial support and accommodation for asylum seekers is going to be removed where those asylum seekers are convicted of crimes, they're working illegally, or they have their own independent finances. Because under the old system, under the Immigration and Asylum Act 1999, Section 95, this requirement to provide financial support for destitute people is found, and it was combined with Article 3 of the Human Rights Act, which prevents people from being subject to inhumane or degrading treatment, which they would face if they return to their country of origin. We just have to look at the statistics for this financial support. Last year, a total of £4 billion was spent on asylum support in the UK. As of December, there were 107,003 individuals in receipt of asylum support, with 30,657 in around 200 asylum hotels, costing the Home Office an average of £53,000 a year. Now, this might sound like common sense, not to be supporting people who've committed crimes and are here illegally. But there are critics of this proposal who state that it's going to drive these people underground instead, and they'll be lost out of the system. It's also going to put pressure under the Home Office to process claims faster, and the Home Office is already under enough pressure. And also, as the support's going to be conditional, then arguably it might result in litigation and appeals over what constitutes someone's behaviour as having breached those conditions. But the reality is, the public just do not want to hear that someone who's committed crimes and is here illegally is being funded at the taxpayer's expense. And finally, the most controversial measure, which has made all the headlines, is the £40,000 payout to failed asylum seekers' families to voluntarily leave the country. Now, this is going to be £10,000 per family member, limited to 4. It's going to give them 7 days to accept, and if they don't, then the Home Office will attempt to forcibly remove them. It's currently aimed at 150 families in hotels. Now, I know Ms Mahmood was influenced by Denmark's immigration policy, which has been quite successful, but you really have to take a step back and just think about the public perception of this, again, in a cost of living crisis. Ultimately, although it's currently limited to 150 families, there are genuine concerns that that could be expanded further. So you've now also got an incentive for people to try to come and claim asylum, and if it fails, they may receive a big payout. Shabana Mahmood's immigration proposals promise to fix a broken system, but how effective are they going to actually be? Obviously, the main headline is the £40,000 paid to failed asylum-seeking families, and that just hasn't gone down well with the public, understandably. My personal view is these proposals are going to change the tone of the immigration system, but results are going to vary. What do you think? Do you think paying £40,000 to asylum-seeking families is a smart solution, or just a waste of taxpayers' money? Do you think reducing the financial support to migrants is going to reduce the number of arrivals, or just drive many into homelessness? And what would you change about the immigration system? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching.